Hey everybody, it's me, Rick Acosta, the Dodger Card Collector, coming to you with another video. Today is Saturday, October 14th, and it's been a crazy week, which is why I'm talking to you guys on a Saturday. It's the second week of having taken care of my mom while my sister and my brother-in-law are in Europe. Luckily, they came home last night. This was a little easier for me this week because I was on vacation. So mom and I went up to the Central Coast for a few days, which is one of my favorite parts to go visit. And unfortunately, I got sick. I don't know if you heard it in my voice, but I've had a cold the past few days and a cough, which hopefully will allow me to do this in one take. I got my water ready here just in case something happens. And it prevented me from making a video yesterday or Thursday night. So I'm giving it a try right now. But had a really good time with mom. She thinks I got sick because the Dodgers lost, uh, which could be the case, but I doubt it. I was feeling sick. I was feeling sick before they lost, but yeah, the Dodgers lost. I honestly I wasn't surprised. Um, Diamondbacks played a great series. Give them all the credit in the world, and they go on to take on the Phillies. The ALCS starts tonight. Rangers versus the Astros. I'm rooting for the Rangers. Let's see what happens. I would never root for the Astros. Phillies Diamondbacks. I think it's going to be all Phillies. I think it's going to be all Phillies the rest of October. Um, they just look like a team on a mission. They look healthy. Everybody's playing at their top levels. So let's see what happens, though. That's why they play the games. Tomorrow, NFL Week 6. I'm going to go to SoFi to go see the Rams versus the Cardinals. It's my first game of the season. Uh, so I'm really excited about that. The NBA opener is in 10 days. And we had the NHL opener Tuesday and Wednesday. My Kings lost on opening night. They're playing tonight versus the Carolina Hurricanes. So probably after this video, I'm gonna be sitting around watching USC versus Notre Dame, the American League CS, and the Kings versus Carolina. So still taking it easy here with me being a little out of commission and me not wanting to be around other people since I'm not feeling 100%. Hobby wise, last Saturday I went to the Brea Card Show. For those of you who are local to this area, Brea is in North Orange County. They have a show at the Embassy Suites. Uh, I'm glad I went, but there was really nothing going on there. Um, there was one vintage table, one, and a guy by the name of Big Max Card Box, Macks. Um, he was the one vintage sold there, and he had some great stuff. He was breaking a 1952 graded set. Kept the mantle at home. He had a 1957 Topps Bill Mazeroski autographed PSA DNA card, and the card was a sales sample, so the back was different. He had a Brooks Robinson autographed rookie. He had some Mantle autographs. He had. I'm looking at it on his Instagram account. He had a 1953 Mickey Mantle, Topps Mickey Mantle autographed, a Julius Irving rookie, or not a rookie. He had a Julius Irving autographed card. He has a bunch of T206s. He had some Orlando Cepeda autographed cards that he just got up north. Big Max card box. You could find him on Instagram. That was the one vintage seller. If he had not been there and me having a nice conversation with him, I would have lasted all of 5 minutes as there was a lot of shiny cards going on. So that's definitely not a show for me. That doesn't mean it's not a show for you. Um, Went over to Diamond 9 Sports Cards in Placentia right after that, seeing that they're in close proximity. Uh, Usual sellers, not much going on. But if you're looking for supplies, it's a great place to go check things out. Today, my plan was to go to the Burbank Card Store, but unexpectedly, I had some pickups that I hope to share with you in the next video. I picked up a couple of 1941 play ball cards, and that was unexpected. They came out of the blue. I'll explain the story to you next week. So for that reason, I'm not going to Burbank with gas prices the way they are, and so I live about 40 miles away. And I go, no, I'm not going to spend money on gas and time and then buying cards. I just bought these cards this week. So that's what's going on hobby wise. What am I doing today with you guys? Showing you pickups from three different sports, believe it or not. So my collecting taste is my collecting range is getting a little wider, I guess. But let's turn the camera around and I'll show you some cards. All right, now before I get started, I wanted to show you a book that I just picked up. I've always seen a lot of paperbacks and magazines in your guys' videos. Terry TJ Maxx always got these incredible magazine covers from Sport or Sports Illustrated. Alex Bowman 53, he's always got like paperbacks in the background of his videos. And with the passing of Brooks Robinson, I got a little nostalgic, and it reminded me, if you saw the video, it reminded me of my brother, who was a big Brooks Robinson fan. And he had a lot of baseball books when we were kids, and sadly they're all gone. But I actually went on eBay and just typed in 1971 baseball books. And there was a book that I looked at all the time. I didn't remember the name. He had one book that was called Baseball Stars of 1971, and Brooks Robinson was on the cover with someone else. I know it's on eBay right now. I can't even tell you who it is. But there was one book that I used to look at every day, and I didn't remember the book. But as I went on eBay and I saw the cover of this book with Lee May, and I can't tell who that is I'm going to say that's Don Buford of the Orioles in the 1970 World Series. I remembered this book, and I decided, it only cost me $6, so I bought it. The official Major League Baseball record book of 1971. And unfortunately, the type is so small that it's hard for me to read. But yeah, you can see here National League batting, home run leaders, Johnny Bench with 45, Billy Williams with 42. And one of the things my brother liked to do, and unfortunately we don't have the American League in here, was he used to get he'd underline with a pen all the Orioles. So I remember I used to like looking at this book, and you got explanations of the All-Star game. There's some pictures in here, like I just passed up a picture of Stan the Man. I think that was Musial. Yeah, there's pictures of Stan Musial in here. And I just used to look at this book all the time and read the notes. And eventually you get to, the batting champions, all the batting champions. I see Rogers Hornsby up there, Lefty O'Doul, home run leaders. And this is the book that was just floating around the house. Willie Davis had 16 triples. Here's a photo of Yaz running away. And is that Reggie Jackson? And somewhere here in the back, it had team rosters, addresses of people. There's Johnny Bench. And I remember I wrote to the Dodgers based on this, and I sent them a letter, and they sent me some pictures and stuff like that back then. But I thought it was just an interesting, if I had better eyesight, I would probably read this book a lot more, but it's just interesting to look at. And this is the 1971 official Major League Baseball record book. So I'm going to keep that just as a nice keepsake from my childhood. All right, my first pickup today is from 1961. It is the 1961 Topps Earl Batty, his All-Star card. Card number 582 in a PSA 7. Most of you know it's been a while since I bought a 1961 Topps All-Star card. I've been working on the subset for several months. With this card, I now have 17 of them. I am still in need of Paul Richards, the Orioles manager. The Phillies first baseman, I want to say his name is Pablo Herrera. Ernie Banks, Brooks Robinson, and Henry Aaron. So this is Earl Batty. Let's talk a little about him because I think it's important to talk about players and their careers. Now, Batty played 13 seasons from 1955 to 1967. He started his career in, I want to say Cleveland, but he played primarily with the Minnesota Twins. 5-time All-Star, 3-time Gold Glove winner. And from 1960 to 1965, Batty was one of the best catchers in the American League, probably along with Elston Howard. Now, Batty had his finest season at the plate in 1963. He hit .285, setting career highs in home runs with 26, RBIs 84, and slugging percentage of .476. He finished 7th in the American League MVP award behind his teammate, Harmon Killebrew, and the eventual winner, Elston Howard. Now, after his playing career, he lived in the Bronx, and he spent the next 12 years working in New York as a recreation specialist with young disturbed boys. This was a promise. He fulfilled a promise he made to his mother. Batty then enrolled at Bethune-Cookman University in 1980. Imagine this, taking 34 credits a semester. That's like 11 classes. He finished his undergraduate degree education in 2.5 years while coaching the men's basketball team and was accorded the distinction of summa cum laude honors. And after graduating from Bethune-Cookman, he became a high school teacher and a baseball coach in Florida. So that is Earl Batty, and it's good to learn about him. Okay, I also picked up some 1963 cards from Greg Morris. Just a handful, 6 of them. Tony Kubek, Yankee shortstop. I remember Tony Kubek more as the color commentator on NBC Sports during the baseball game of the week during the 70s, along with Kirk Gowdy. But that's Tony Kubek. A rookie card featuring future New York Knicks star Dave DeBusschere. So he played baseball first for the White Sox. But I guess it didn't work out. He became a pretty damn good basketball player, though. So that's the Dave DeBusschere rookie. Stu Miller. Stu Miller of the Orioles. Former Red Sox, I don't know if you call him a legend, but he's very well known, Johnny Pesky. I mean, some of us will know him just because of Pesky's Pole. But there's a Red Sox fan out there, Eric Card Closet. He'll probably correct me about Johnny Pesky. But here he was when he was the manager of the Red Sox in 1963. Let's see, a couple more. Smokey Burgess. He was at one time the all-time pinch hit leader. But here's Smokey Burgess of the Pirates. And the last one is the one high number I was able to pick up is Don Cardwell of the Pirates. So there's Don Cardwell. And then I had another pickup. Mike Moynihan had an auction on Whatnot. And it was pretty fun. There were some good deals to be had. There were some people scoring. I don't have any cards from the baseball scoop set from 1961, but when Mike showed off this Roy Campanella, I knew I had to have it. And here it is. Campy is the most valuable player. September 28th, 1953. Here's the back. I don't know if I'll buy more of these baseball scoops, but like I said, I thought they were pretty interesting. So I picked this one up. So very cool. All right, what else we got? Okay, I'm really going to change things up here with the next few cards I'm about to show you. Yeah, this is a hockey card, another hockey card. A 2008 Upper Deck Drew Doughty in a Gem Mint 10. This is a Young Guns card. I'm working on a couple of projects. I'll explain one of them to you right now. I'll explain the other one to you when I show the next set of cards. You guys know I collect Dodger team cards. You've noticed in the last few months I've started I have a couple of 1950 Bowman Los Angeles Rams cards. of which I plan to increase to 1951 and potentially the 1949 Leafs. But I decided for the Kings, I wanted some representation in my collection. So I am starting my all-time Kings cards collection. And I thought I'd start with some easy ones. I'm going to do the retired players, Rogie Vachon, Marcel Dionne, Dave Taylor, Wayne Gretzky, Luc Robitaille, Rob Blake. Those guys are all, well, with the exception of Taylor, they're all Hall of Famers. And the recently retired jersey number 23 of Dustin Brown. So I'm going to do those along with Butch Goring, famous player from the 70s. And I decided also probably I'll add in the three next guys who are going to have their numbers retired, that being Drew Doughty, current captain Anze Kopitar, and goaltender Jonathan Quick, who are all two-time Stanley Cup champions. Now, Doughty was the second overall pick of the Kings in the 2008 NHL draft, right behind Steven Stamkos of the Tampa Bay Lightning. So this is a nice pickup. I don't know why. For some reason, when I bought this card, I made the remark that I felt like those back pages, because he loves buying. He has a very nice hockey collection, and I asked him some questions about an Alex Ovechkin rookie, and he explained to me which one was the right one. So I picked up this Drew Doughty card, and that will make, I think, the second hockey card I have. So I have Drew Doughty and Luc Robitaille. Now, my second new project, as you see the 1971 Topps Elgin Baylor, along with the 1971 Topps Gail Goodrich, is I am going to be collecting the 1971 to 72 LA Lakers team. There's only about 8 or 9 cards, but there's a lot of Hall of Famers in there. There's Wilt Chamberlain, there's Jerry West, there's Elgin Baylor, there's Gail Goodrich, there's the other 2 starting members of the team, Happy Harrison and Jim McMillan. There's actually a team leader card that is considered part of the set, a league leaders card, I should say, and one of the players is Wilt Chamberlain, but the other player is Lou Alcindor, or he's known now as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And that's considered part of the Laker team set. So I'm going to be working on that as well. And I want some representation of the Lakers in my collection. And I chose this team because this was the first team I remember growing up as a child. 33 game winning streak, still a record to this day. Lakers finally won their first NBA title. And Elgin Baylor, unfortunately, he only played a couple of games that season before he finally announced his retirement. But he did play 14 seasons as a forward in the NBA. And he was a gifted shooter, a strong rebounder, and an accomplished passer. And he was best known for his trademark hanging jump shot. He was a number 1 pick in 1958. He was the Rookie of the Year in 1959. And an 11-time NBA All-Star and a 10-time member of the All-NBA First Team. Baylor is regarded one of the game's all-time greatest players. And in 1977, he was inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. In 1966, Baylor was named one of the 50 greatest players in NBA history. And just a couple of years ago, in October 2021, Baylor was again honored as one of the league's greatest players of all time by being named to the NBA's 75th anniversary team. So here you see Elgin Baylor in a PSA 6. The player next to him on the right is another Hall of Famer, Gail Goodrich. If you're a UCLA Bruins fan, he is best known for scoring a then record 42 points for UCLA in the 1965 NBA championship game versus Michigan. Now, if you're a Lakers fan, his part in the Lakers' 71-72 season, as I already mentioned, 33 consecutive wins, what was at that time the best regular season record in NBA history, which was 69 wins and 13 losses, which has since been broken by the Warriors and the Bulls. And they also won the NBA championship for the first time since relocating to Los Angeles. and Goodrich was one of the leading scorers on that team. He's also acclaimed for leading UCLA to its first 2 national championships under the legendary coach John Wooden. The first in 1963, 1964. That was a perfect 30-0 season when he played with teammate Walt Hazzard. And in 1996, 17 years after his retirement from professional basketball, Goodrich was also elected to the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame. Now, one interesting thing about Gail Goodrich is his parting gift to the Lakers was his impact on the Lakers franchise extended far beyond his playing years. When he signed with the then New Orleans Jazz in 1976, per league rules at that time, the Lakers were to receive compensation for losing a veteran free agent. So back then, when you lost a player to free agency, you were received compensation in forms of draft picks. So the Lakers and Jazz agreed to send New Orleans' regular first-round pick from the 1979 draft to Los Angeles, also along with a first-round pick in 1977 and 1978, an additional second-round pick. So when the Jazz finished the 1978-79 season with the worst record in the NBA, the Lakers were eligible for one of the top 2 picks of the draft. At that point, until 1985, the 2 teams with the worst records flipped a coin to determine which team would receive the top pick. The Lakers won the coin flip against the Chicago Bulls and selected Magic Johnson. Great story. Gail Goodrich definitely helped the team out in the 70s, also helped the Lakers out by leaving in the late 70s and having Magic Johnson get drafted in the 80s. I was able to pick up a couple of more 1941 play ball cards. First one being Harlan Cliff in a PSA 7. And Cliff played 12 seasons from 1934 to 1945, primarily with the St. Louis Browns. He made the All-Star team in 1937 when he hit 29 home runs, 118 RBIs, and batted .306. The next season, Cliff followed up with 34 homers and 118 RBIs. Now, Cliff was one of the first power-hitting third basemen, posting his offensive numbers at a time when players at that position were more valued for their fielding. However, Cliff was also regarded as a superb fielder. Let's see if we can get a close-up here, and you can see his card here with the background and the colors. It's a good-looking card. So that is Harlan Cliff. And our last card today is going to be Hall of Fame catcher Bill Dickey of the New York Yankees, who played 17 seasons with the Yankees from 1928 to 1946. Naturally, I said he's a Hall of Famer, 11-time All-Star, 8 World Series titles as a player, and I believe 6 additional as a coach. Now, although his offensive production was overshadowed by Yankee greats Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, and Joe DiMaggio, Dickey posted some of the finest offensive numbers ever by a catcher during the late 1930s, hitting over 20 home runs with 100 RBIs in 4 consecutive seasons from 1936 to 1939. His 1936 batting average of .362 was the highest single-season average ever recorded by a catcher, tied by Mike Piazza of the Los Angeles Dodgers and Joe Mauer of the Minnesota Twins. Dickey went off to World War II from 1944 to parts of 1996, and then he returned to the Yankees in 1946, becoming the player-manager of the Yankees in the middle of the 1946 season after Joe McCarthy resigned. Now, the Yankees did fairly well under Dickey's watch, going 57-48. However, owner Larry MacPhail refused to give Dickey a new contract until after the season. Rather than face the possibility of being a lame duck manager, the 39-year-old Dickey resigned on September 12th, but remained as a player. He retired after that season, having compiled 202 home runs, 1,209 RBIs, and a .313 batting average over his career. Now, my memory of Bill Dickey will go back to the next part, which I'm about to tell you, was while still an active player in 1942, Dickey appeared as himself in the film The Pride of the Yankees, which starred Gary Cooper as the Yankee captain and first baseman Lou Gehrig. Late in the movie, when Gehrig was fading due to the disease that would eventually take his life, a younger Yankee grumbled in the locker room, "The old man on first needs to get crutches to get around." And Dickey, following the script, belted the younger player, after which he said, "The kid talked out of turn." At the time of Lou Gehrig's death, Dickey described Gehrig as his best friend. Dickey was introduced into the Hall of Fame in 1954. In 1972, the Yankees retired the number 8 in honor of Dickey and Yogi Berra. On August 22nd, 1988, the Yankees honored both Dickey and Berra by hanging plaques honoring them in Monument Park at Yankee Stadium. One of the great Yankees is Bill Dickey, and I'm honored to have him in my collection. It'll probably be the only Bill Dickey card I end up with in my collection. Just to give you some stats on the 1941 set, I am down to 10 cards. And my next video, I hope to be down to 8 cards, as I just picked up 2 more cards. So at this moment, I have 62 of the 72 cards. And we'll see where it goes from there. But if you stuck around this long, thanks for putting up so much with me. I know my voice is a little dragging with my cold, but thanks so much, and we'll talk to you next time.